Hey guys, it's Cam here back with another video for you. I know it's been forever since I've posted a last video, but now I'm here and I'm hoping to continue making videos more frequently. But anyway, this one is breaking down the final Digimon Try movie, Our Future. It was released almost a week ago. This review is a little bit late, but I'm glad that I'm having it out anyway. So again, this video, just kind of like my last one, I'm going to be talking about my general thoughts, so the pros, the cons. I won't be breaking down the film bit by bit because I'm sure you guys have watched it already, but I'm going to be explaining the highlights for me, as well as the major takeaway that I got from the film. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so let's get right into it. I'm going to start off actually with my cons, and then I'm going to go into the pros. So getting right into it, the first con that I had with the film, kind of right off the top of my head, is the appearance of the 02 cast. Although we did get somewhat of an explanation as to what happened to them, I didn't like that they only had silhouettes of them. You know, we waited quite a number of chapters to see what happened to them, and when we finally did get something, we just got silhouettes, and it's not even like it's full illustrations, which was kind of whack to me. And then additionally, after all that was done, we still never really got an update about them, considering we don't even know what happened to their Digimon. That wasn't even brought up once. And I do appreciate that Tai remembered them and all that stuff, but at the same time, it's like, okay, they're in these like sleeping pods, I guess, but where's Vmon? Where's Hawkmon? Where is Artadilamon? They're MIA. And I felt like maybe they could have at least touched on that just a little bit. So that was kind of a con for me, for sure, because, they deserve it. They deserve at least somewhat of a better explanation, or at least just something a little bit more concrete that we can say, okay, they got their shine, at least just a little bit. It didn't have to be a full shine, but just something small. So yeah, that was a little bit of a con for me. Another con for me with this film was definitely, it's not a huge con, but it is slightly a con, and that's due to the appearance of Wizardmon. I was very, very happy to see that he was going to be in this film. As you remember from the poster, there was that little icon of his hat, and it's like, yeah, he's gonna be in the film, and I remember from the original series, he had a really big role in shaping Gatomon and being her aide and being basically like her partner throughout this whole thing, or throughout her life, really. So that was really like reminiscent of that, and I was looking forward to seeing how he was going to be, excuse me, how he's going to be implemented within this film. But yet, he didn't even say anything. He didn't even say anything. And I was just thinking, like, damn, like, they could have done just a little bit more. Like, even if he said something to Kari or something to Gatomon, if she saw him, but she wouldn't even remember him anyway. But, I don't know, just something. Even if it was something to wait, now that I say that, that's kind of a loophole. Wait, yeah, it's kind of a loophole now that I say that, because if their memories were wiped, how would Wizardmon even remember Gatomon unless he was immune? I don't know. Let's not get into it. But yeah, that all being said, his appearance was definitely a con for me in some sense. Like, I was happy to see him, but in the same breath, I was kind of irked by the lack of dialogue. So, my third con with this movie was just, I guess it's just more associated with a loophole rather than a con, but Kind of that lack of explanation regarding Maki. In this film, unfortunately, Daigo had to pass away, and I kind of predicted that. Like, I thought, okay, going into the film, he is probably gonna die. Looking at the trailer, because we don't have that super close connection to him as a viewer, and he's not really needed going forward. So, I can see that happening. However, I found with Maki being she was such a antagonist throughout the series that to see her go out like she did in the last movie, and then we kind of don't see what happened to her. Like, we don't know if she died or, because the last time we saw her, she was going into the dark ocean. So I don't know. Arguably, can you say that she drowned? I don't know, right? It's a little bit ambiguous. We do know that the creators announced that more projects are going to be released. So perhaps we might see something like that with Maki. I don't know. It's really hard to say at this point. But maybe she is. I think from a writer's point of view, it doesn't make sense for her to be alive, unfortunately, which is actually pretty tragic. But I'll get into this later on. So yeah, for that loophole, that definitely is a con for me. And lastly, that I can think of, at least right now, for my cons, would just be the lack of I can't even pronounce it, Agdramon, which is Gatumon's mega. I apologize for my poor pronunciation. But yeah, like, I was so looking forward to seeing a little bit more from her. And I know, like, it's tight because of the movie. Like, there's only so much that you can put in. But it's kind of unfortunate that we had to wait so long to see her mega, just for her to be on screen for a little bit, which was kind of crappy. But it's all right, She looked great. I know there was, like, a little bit of frustration from some fans because they wanted to see Ophanimon. But, for me, I don't mind either or. Like, I thought she looked gorgeous. The animation was great. So, no complaints from me there. I just wish we saw a little bit more of her, that's all. Okay, so... Okay, so now I'm going to get into the pros. I have a lot of pros for this movie, although it... Hold on. All right, so let's get into the pros. Going into this movie, I actually did read the spoilers. Yes, I don't normally read the spoilers for the Tribe movies. I avoid them as much as I can, but I think because I was so disappointed with the last film, I just felt like, okay, I'll just read them and whatever. So that being said, I wasn't expecting to have the reaction that I did. I was actually live tweeting my reaction on Twitter as I was watching it, and I was crying. I did not expect to cry like the way I did watching this movie, and I'm just gonna explain why through these pros. Normally I don't cry through anime. Like, I just maybe tear up, but like, I had legitimate tears watching this movie, so let's get into why. So the first pro that I have definitely goes to the Gabumon and Matt scene, which happened within the second chapter. This scene was so reminiscent of the original series where Matt was just, if you guys remember that episode where Matt was just like in his head, he was getting really depressed, and Gabumon had to kind of bring him back, and he did that by showing his love and admiration for him, right, and his dedication to him as his partner. And he did it once again in the Tri series, and I really appreciated that from a writing point of view, because it's like, it's so reminiscent of the original series and just Gabumon's character, and his devotion to Matt. And I just found that so touching. Like, I was crying during that scene. It was so good. And what made it so much more sentimental was the fact that Gabumon at that point didn't even have his memories. So just based off of that small encounter that they had from loss and coexistence and now our future, he was still able to remain consistent in his devotion and his love and admiration for Matt, which I really liked. Yeah, so my second pro, and this may sound a little bit weird, but my second pro for this movie was the fact that the Digidestin kept losing. We had multiple fight scenes within this film, and from the very beginning, I just started crying. The second they ran off, and then you see this Agumon kind of behind cheering them on, I started crying because I felt like it's supposed to be all 8 of them, fighting together to defeat this enemy. And Gatumon's missing, and then at the time Kari was missing, and along with TK. So it's like, and I believe even Izzy at one point was missing too. So it's like, they're supposed to be all together. They're supposed to be fighting together, and then they're going mega, and they're trying, and they're just losing, and it's just like I don't know. I just found that to be like emotional for me. I don't know why, but I just found that so emotional because it's like from the original series, we're used to kind of seeing them going hard at it and they defeat the enemy, but like continuously they found themselves like in a rut, and I don't know. I just found that just kind of powerful in a way that like together with all 8 of them together, that's how they'll defeat them, but there were boundaries that were preventing them from attaining that goal. And yeah, that was just powerful to me again. Yeah, and then lastly, actually I have a couple more pros, just 3 more pros. Another pro that I had was definitely the final fight scene. I don't know, everything about that scene I felt was just so touching. Like, even when I go back and watch it, I still tear up to it because it was just so powerful. Like, everyone's back together, and they've come to this conclusion that sometimes the decisions that we have to make in life are not going to be the ones that we want to do, but we have to do them. And I just really appreciated how the direction was of this scene, where we started off seeing the reactions bit by bit. We saw Omnimon kind of basically destroying Megumon, and we saw all the reactions starting from Mimi, Sora, Tai, and then in addition to the music and just the directions, it was so eloquently laid out, and it was just really powerful, like a really powerful scene. And then obviously I'm going into my next pro, which was Mekumon's goodbye, and the way that was kind of led in was just, it was so eloquent. We had this music kind of leading up to it. It ends the scene with or not the scene, but ends that transition with Tai kind of affirming that this is what's going to happen. Mekumon gets sliced, and then we go into this white space of silence. There wasn't any noise at first. The music creeps in, and the dialogue is very simple. It's very simple, but yet it's so symbolic. And I just found that it was so powerful, like the way they did that. And then Mekumon says goodbye, and then the piano just creeps in again, and you see the sun reappear. It's just so, I just love the direction of that. And it's like, wow, we've finally come to the conclusion that we have attained for, but unfortunately it came with a sacrifice and a loss. It's powerful. I don't know, I found that scene to be so powerful. And then it actually got a little bit funny just like 5 seconds after that moment. And this is another pro for me, would be Jenai. Throughout this movie, I actually did like Jenai a little bit more. In the last video, I believe it was my video for Loss. I can't remember which one it was, but I was saying that Jedi was kind of a con for me. And, I guess after watching this film, I don't really see him as a con anymore. He's kind of funny. He was actually really funny throughout the movie. Um, and, it kind of left us with a little bit of a cliffhanger pertaining to like what he intends on doing. He said he might bring back Daemon or Diaboramon, if I'm correct. So, I guess that's a bit interesting. And, throughout the film, he was a bit funny. Um, Although his motives are still a little bit ambiguous, but, it is what it is. And yeah, so this kind of leads into my last pro. And yeah, I think overall I did really appreciate the character development, specifically from Ty and Matt. I think probably had the most. Like everybody kind of had their own character development in a way, but I did appreciate Ty's the most, and I think it was something worth noting. Because even in that scene between him and Kari where they were having that dialogue and Kari's like, don't do this, he kind of looked past her emotions and, logically came to the conclusion that for the better good of everybody, we have to do this. And I don't care how you may feel about me. And I thought that was really noble, and I thought it was really bold. And I don't know, I just thought that was a great moment for character development in regards to Ty. That being said, that's pretty much everything. But what I kind of came to the conclusion of in regards to Digimon Tri, the entire series, because as fans, we were kind of complaining that why is there so much focus on Meiko and Meikumon? And now that the series is over, I can kind of see why the writers chose to go in this direction. And that's only because, like, we got to see this whole evolution. However, that basically by seeing this whole focus on Meiko and Meikumon, it has a greater effect on when she dies, essentially. But, there were a lot of things along the way that I felt like was missed opportunity. Like, they definitely could have brought the series from, like, a B to, like, an A+, so easily if they just added, like, small things, like, like maybe just a stronger villain, in my opinion. And I was saying this in my last videos. We don't know who the main villain was. I was so confused for so long who the main villain was, and just now that the series is over, it's like Meikumon essentially was like a victim, right? Like, as I remember from the first film, I'm sure you guys remember when we saw that little black cube go into her digi egg. So essentially she was a victim by accident. And that's kind of crappy. Like, that's like crappy for a villain to label her as a victim. To label her as a enemy or the villain, the top villain, is kind of a cop out, because she's more of a victim, in my opinion, than a villain, because the infection wasn't even her fault, right? So yeah, and I guess you can say the villain was Jedi, but even then, because he was so ambiguous with his ambitions, it's like, it's not really that, not that impactful. It's not like a Piedmon, or like a Apocalypmon, it's not like strong. It's just kind of, in my opinion. I don't know if you guys agree or disagree, but yeah, that's kind of like my major kind of takeaway from the film. It's just like, I feel like it's more catered towards people who don't know much about Digimon and kind of just want to watch it and, take it in. But for the devoted fans, like, yeah, we love it, but at the same time, there were things that could have been a bit more stronger. But yeah, that's pretty much everything. I think I might do another video just talking about maybe like my top 5 highlights or cons throughout the whole series. But overall, like, I guess specifically for our future, I think it is one of my favorites. Um, I think it's between this and Confessions are my favorite. But I'm gonna go more into this a little bit later on. I'll try and release another video soon. But yeah, just please leave your comments below. Like, what did you guys think of the film? Like, did you think it was really good? And now that they've announced new developments that are coming out, what do you guys think is going to happen with that? Like, do you think they're going to focus on the 01 or 02 cast? In my opinion, I think I don't know. I think they kind of left it open. They might continue with the 01 cast because the way that they ended the series, Digimon was still there with them. And yeah, they could. Because again, as I was mentioning, we didn't get to see the 02 cast, like their Digimon. Like maybe they'll go looking for them, and maybe we might even see Mekumon come back and we get to see this evolution, which I thought was actually kind of it's kind of a con too, actually, before I go. I think that's actually another con because they made it a little bit like, they were a little bit devious, you know. They released it, I believe it was in the video game or a trading card. They released the image of Mekumon's positive evolution. I'll put up a picture now for you guys to see it. And I thought for real that she was going to make an appearance. Like, I thought that Mekumon was going to get purified somehow, which I guess she kind of did, but she got defeated rather than purified. And actually, no, she did get purified technically. And then we get to see this evolution, you know, but maybe we'll get to see her in the next film. I don't know. And then it kind of leads into my next question. Are you guys done completely with Mekumon, or do you think you want to see her again in the next film? I'm open to it. Honestly, I am open to it. And I think this is a great opportunity too to maybe showcase Mako in a different light. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what direction they come in with this next adventure, I guess you can say. But yeah, you guys please just leave your comments down below. You leave your thoughts. Let's have a discussion. I'm open to it. And yeah, I'm gonna hope to make some more videos too. I know this is a little bit long, but I'm hoping to make some more videos and we can just continue that conversation. Thank you so much. And yeah, subscribe, like, and we'll talk in the comments. Have a great day. Thank you.